Hey guys, welcome back to the Girlfriends and Goals podcast YouTube channel. My name is Samaria and I'm joined by my best friend and co-host Miyosha. And today we're reviewing Married at First Sight, season 17, episode 18.
18.
All right. But before we get into that, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and meet us in the comments to let us know your thoughts about the couples who had the most going on, Becca and Austin and Chloe and Michael. Also, we have
Yeah.
this wine review, so that's coming up in the next couple of days. So if you
Yeah,
so,
we got the next set of episodes.
yep.
So,
All right.
all
So
right.
let's start with Claire and Cameron just to get them out of the way because why are they even here?
Yeah, and why is Claire still in the apartment? And they're both acting as though their decision day hasn't come yet. So we have Claire sitting down with her mom, and then Cameron sits down to meet with Brennan. Claire, it sounds like she's come to some sort of resolution. What does she tell her mom? She's like, oh, he's an amazing human. He's so great. So this, so that, but doesn't believe husband and wife is the right title for them.
I could have
Y'all
told
are
her
already,
that 5 weeks ago. I could have told her that. I could have
y'all,
told her that on the honeymoon.
y'all are already separated. So I don't understand that. And then you have Cameron sitting down with Brennan,
Hmm?
still has his heart situation going on. Brennan asks, oh, how are things going with you and Claire? How's she been? He basically says, like, it's not that serious of a situation. There's nothing much for her to do, but I guess she's been okay. He says that he feels like Claire has made some progress and is maturing in her stance on them,
Because
but
she's
he
had
hasn't
time to
made it.
think of it. Right.
Yeah, she's been thinking about it, talking to other people about it, but he's saying that he's still in the same place, but doesn't want to leave her out to dry on decision day and would say yes if she says yes.
He's exhausting. They're exhausting, honestly. Why you drag your mom into this, Claire? Was it not enough that she had to show up to that wedding? And now we're bringing her all these weeks later. What is it, 8 weeks later almost? Because decision day is within a week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think they should have been on the screen. And I think it's interesting that Cameron met with Brennan, I guess because he doesn't have any friends of his own. And Brendan asking like how Claire, you probably see Claire more than he does. You probably talk to Claire more than he does. You live in the same apartment, and I know Emily is hanging out with her. They're probably coming by to see Emily. So anyway, I could have done without all of that, but
Yeah. Just to check that box. They're
yeah.
done.
Emily and Brennan, not much with them. Like Emily is still healing, so it's not much to
Mhm.
report. They followed her process.
Yeah.
Okay, something that happened at the end of their scenes was he mopped the floors and then he spilled the water in the kitchen sink. Is that normal?
No.
Okay, I
I've
thought
seen people do it in the toilet,
that's,
the bathtub,
that would be
outside
different.
even, but they're in
Yeah,
an apartment, so I understand that. But
yeah.
yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, it's like that is the most disgusting thing I've seen ever.
Yeah. It's it's just so odd seeing how happy and giddy they are. This is the most smiling we've gotten out of Brennan this entire season.
He only has
Uh
7 days left. That's why.
yeah, I mean, he's stepping up doing what he needs to do as a human. But then they go on to meet with who do they meet with? All the experts, I believe.
I think theirs was all the experts.
Yeah, Dr. Pierre Pascal and Dr. Pepper. Emily says she's feeling better. They commend her for how she's handling it. They don't touch at all on, okay, well, what's the status of this relationship?
Mm.
Y'all were on this whole, oh, we're friends. There's no pressure mode. Is that still where we're at?
Mhm.
I do wonder, did they not ask any questions because they don't want to put any extra stress on her because she did have a head injury. So they don't want her to be stressed or upset.
I thought,
But
you know, Emily was on the after party with Becca and Michael.
mm,
And Keisha Napoleon asked Becca, how do you feel watching Brennan taking care of Emily and really stepping
mhm,
into this role? And Becca goes, they started playing the dark music, and I knew something was
mhm,
awry. But Becca goes, it's nice to see that on camera, but then off camera, apparently he was asking Emily to go with him car shopping.
Mhm.
So instead of her resting, which Becca thought would be the best thing for Emily, he had her at Audi dealerships trying out car. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I had to plug in my laptop. I was trying to do it quick. Okay, we're good. We're good, we're good. Sorry, I tried not to say anything, but y'all, we record these videos live, so we're good.
But yeah, so he had her looking at different Audis at Audi dealerships, and Becca was not a fan of that. Emily said, you know, at the time
Mm,
she just felt like, oh, he's looking for ways to spend time with me. But no, he was just
mm,
making sure that he got out of her what he needed. You know, she was useful to
yeah,
the moment. So anyway, that's the
mm.
behind the scenes on them. But this episode didn't really give us much on those two.
Yeah, something Emily said, she said she just wants to keep the post-trauma happy vibes going.
Mhm.
I was just like,
I
"Dang."
get it.
Ugh.
For the next 7 days. Why not?
Yeah, maybe
You're
she's checked out and just saying what she needs to say to get through it.
through it, and
I
I'm
just hope the hope isn't real. I just hope the hope isn't real.
that's a
And
okay.
all
Michael
right.
and Chloe.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
they start talking about bringing in their pets, and Chloe decides she wants to take a few days.
Hmm. What did she say? Oh, because of how everything is moving so quickly.
We
Her
don't have to
dogs.
think. We don't have to
Yeah.
feel. I
She's
don't.
deeply introverted and
Wait,
needs alone time.
I get. I am an. As Miosha is my witness. I'm an
Mhm.
introvert to the max. However, you find pockets of alone time, you know?
Mhm.
It's, hey, I need the house by myself for a few hours. Can I get that? Or, hey, I'm gonna go to this coffee shop, or I'm gonna go for a walk. You
Mhm.
find ways to fulfill your introverted needs if you're serious about the marriage portion of it. You find a way to fulfill your introverted needs and still maybe show up for the relationship. Michael seems very understanding, so I don't think he would have minded giving her space.
No, he said that he's okay with it. He's just worried and wonders if something is wrong. Um, I don't know. She was away for a week. For me, that's where I just call BS because I understand, okay, you need one night. Y'all have this whole zoo situation as far as all these pets go. I get you go, you get them settled, but a whole week or multiple, anything more than one night, I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
you're doing too much and you're not being honest. Yes, the process is quick. You got married at first sight. I kept writing, you got married at first sight. You got married at first sight. You don't have that much time. And I wonder because they started later, we still don't have any clue about their timeline. So they may be on more of a time crunch than
Mhm.
the rest of the couples. And so to me, your time is even more precious the time you have together. Aren't they in a two-bedroom as well?
I thought so. With all those pets, they're gonna have to be. But yeah, so I thought it was not really necessary. I can't say what's necessary for her, but it did show to me a lack of commitment. Now they said that one of her dogs couldn't come for whatever reason, like Michael said that in the after party,
Mhm.
because it's a pit bull, and so complexes usually have issues with those types of dogs. So
Mhm.
she was missing the dog, but she said something about, well, you know, we're about to really embark on the marriage part of our journey. And I said, girl, you embarked on the marriage part when you said yes at that altar when y'all filed the marriage certificates. Like you are already in it. It's embarked already. And so for her to come to her confessional and say, here is the man who is everything I want. No, the lies, the lies. Like he is not the man. If he was the man you wanted, you wouldn't have to go away for a week. Like you just would not have to. At
And I didn't appreciate how she used the dog situation, I think,
hmm,
as an excuse at first,
okay.
instead of just coming right out. Because she said, "Oh, the dogs are with the cousin or staying at someone's house."
Hmm.
He asked, "Okay, well, are you just gonna go see them at the whoever's watching them house? And then are you gonna bring them home? Are
Hmm.
you gonna stay home with them?" So she didn't come right out initially. He had to keep asking her questions. Okay, well, is it about the dogs really? How long are you planning to be gone for? She just wanted time away from him. And I think she didn't want to own it fully.
With this and a few other things that came up this episode, I put down that Michael is being a good friend. And that's all that I
Mm.
can see. So I know for me, when my friends are like, hey, I just need some time. Okay, girl, take a month, take whatever you need. But that can't be the case with me and my significant other because I have needs for us to communicate, for, whatever. But he's really approaching this the way that he might approach any other friendship. And so he's being so supportive in a way that I don't know regular husbands can or should be because this is a relationship.
I think he's playing it safe.
Yeah,
I don't know what other option he would say. And because of how she came to him about it, what else would he say?
she had
Uh,
decided.
yeah, like hey, it was basically, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go pick up my dogs. I'm going home for the next few days. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you even say to that? So then Chloe goes on to sit down with her friend Caesar. What
Hmm.
did you think about that conversation?
It was very odd to me. So the first thing that was odd was when she said, "Oh, I just needed to process the human that the." She was talking about him like he was one of her pets, like the human that the experts have given me. And then I also think he needed a few days to himself. Do not prescribe what that man needed. If he needed a few days to himself, he is very capable of communicating that.
And she said that a few times.
Mhm.
And she said, "Oh, but he's the extrovert." Well, which one is it? Now, not extroverts can need alone time as well, but it was almost like she's like, "Oh, it's the both of us who need this." No, girl, it's you. It's you who
You.
needs it.
And I need you to stand on business because you're
Yeah.
pull Michael into this. And then I wasn't buying that she missed him because she kept saying, um, "Oh, I've missed him in the last few days, not being around him. I've really missed him." I don't buy that. And I don't buy that there's nothing about their relationship that she's concerned about. That's BS.
Because she didn't answer the question. He flat out asked her, "Is there anything about Michael or the marriage that concerns you?" She doesn't answer. She just says, "I need to process everything." But you miss him.
She
So
does.
you did process something? Uh-uh. I don't think
And
she
then
did.
Caesar talking about how Michael is pretty much prepackaged, like he's giving these great answers. I feel more like that about Chloe than
Like
I
she's
do.
being fake.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think Michael senses things are off, and he's just like you said, playing it safe.
I think every season, someone in the friends or family will be like, "Oh, they're too perfect. They're saying all the right answers." It's always a concern because, like she said, you do have to give it time. But he asked, do the actions align with what he's saying? And I don't know that they've,
And then,
other
like,
than him being very accommodating and just saying, "Oh, okay,
yeah,
well, if you need your time or you're having anxiety or I'll give you your space." I mean, I don't know that that much time has really passed for her to be able to evaluate if his actions will line up with his words. But I don't
absolutely
know. I think he's conducted himself well so far. I don't get fake from him.
at all. Yeah,
No.
I said again, Michael treats Chloe like she's a good friend. He's supportive in a friendship way. Friends don't have to have as difficult conversations or like
Mhm.
stick out the awkward moments in the same space. And I also wrote down, are you going to have to recharge every time? Because this is who Michael is. He very much showed up as himself. So, are you going to keep your apartment or keep your house so that you can recharge every time you feel like he's too much? Or are you actually going to commit to dealing with it? And it's okay if she's a person who needs to recharge. I think maybe she just needs her a boyfriend or a spouse who's okay with living separately or a spouse who's long distance. Like maybe she just doesn't need that in her house.
I wonder how much she communicated with the experts about her being an introvert. Um, I don't know. I just feel like there's a few things about her that she has claimed so far in this process that I don't know. Was she upfront with them with all of this initially? And they just thought Michael would be the one to go along and get along. And I don't know, but between this, the perfectionism,
Mhm.
um, what was the other thing she said about herself? The anxiety, the panic attacks.
Maybe they weren't matching for Chloe, they were really matching for Michael.
Maybe just because I feel like the introvert thing didn't come up with her
Okay.
until after
Mhm,
they met.
mhm.
And now it's, oh, I'm such this introvert now.
Yeah, but when you're an introvert, you know it. Like you've known for a while that you're.
Yeah. Oh, her being a people pleaser. That was the other thing. People pleaser,
I don't get
introvert.
that from her. Do you
I
get?
didn't get that, but that's how she described herself. She said she's a recovering people pleaser. Later, I'm jumping ahead just a little bit, but
No,
since
that's
we were
fine.
touching on how she's been describing herself, she said she's a
Yeah.
people pleaser and she's a recovering perfectionist. And I wrote, okay, are those, I don't think that those are the same things exactly. And she's an introvert and she has these anxiety things going on. And so I don't know, Chloe.
She's a lot of things. She's a lot of things, but I don't think any of the things that she's saying she is are actually her. I
Oh,
don't.
and minimalism. That's what it was. Minimalism. Yeah.
So their friends come over, which a nine. Somebody said, I feel like this theme is appropriation a little bit, but they had a '90s hip hop theme party.
Listen, people's version of the 90s just depends on where you were.
It really does. It really, child, it really does. Because all
Mm,
that type of jewelry, I wouldn't associate that with, but I don't know.
girl.
Michael, Michael's friend Paige, I don't think was feeling Chloe very much, especially when she was talking about how she needed a break because this was overwhelming. She was kind of just sitting there like, okay.
Mm.
And then
Was it the friend who said she found it interesting how much explaining Chloe had to do about going home
yeah,
and they were in the puppy dog phase? That's the friend you're talking about?
I think her name
Okay.
is Paige. Yeah,
Okay, I didn't write her name down.
that's the friend. So
Mm.
I'm with her, and of course she said, "Oh, if you feel like Michael is being too nice," but Chloe's not going to say to Michael, "Oh, tell me exactly what you want," because she wants to have things her way. So if she wants to
Mm.
go home for a week, she doesn't want Michael to say, "I don't want you to go." She wants Michael to say, "Okay, girl, I'll see you in a week."
Realistically, how would that conversation have gone?
Would she
I
have said
think she still would have gone home.
right? Exactly. So I don't.
Yeah.
Michael says that Chloe is so selfless, and I said, "Okay."
She describes herself as a recovering people pleaser. I don't get that from her.
At all, not even a little bit.
Do y'all tell us in the comments, do y'all get recovering people pleaser from her?
She might be fully recovered at this point because I don't think she's still in recovery.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Yeah. And
that's
then
all I have on them. But
one of the friends said, don't let him just show you what he wants you to see.
hmm yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, like okay,
Isn't that everybody in a relationship up until a certain point? That's why you have to give it time, try to
especially
vet them, let some time go by, see what happens. I don't know. And
yeah,
then they have the boxing session where I said, okay, here she is being fake again, where One, Michael looks great. He clearly knows what he's doing. She said he's so sexy in the ring, but I don't see you go into
Kiss him, hug him, interact with him in any physical way. She
you're
just
faking
lied to
it.
us. That's what she wants to lie to us and the producers and the camera.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, if you're feeling that way, then show him when you're in close proximity.
Touch the muscles instead of just talking about it. Like she's literally there with her hands folded.
Oh, he's so sexy.
Sexy. Salesman, look at you, girl. Who do you think is buying what you're selling?
But yeah, and then I think at the end she just says, she brings up the people pleasing again and wants to know what he needs from her. He says he's good and will speak up if he needs to.
Oh, all right. Next.
Next. Remember that?
Yeah. Girl, I used to next and room raiders. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
those used to be the good old days when MTV
Mm-mm-mm.
had. Okay, Becca and Austin. My heart broke. Why are you laughing?
It's just I'm laughing, but it's not funny. It's just so crazy how Becca just started off so bubbly. We
That's
loved her energy. And I'm laughing at the fact of just how far we've come.
yeah.
And for us, it's been a longer period of time, but for them, it's been such a short time. She's unrecognizable to the person in terms of energy that
Yeah.
she showed up as.
She's always crying now. I felt so bad. My heart broke for her this episode because she can't even go a day with happiness. And I think, you know how when it rains, it pours. So there could be a whole bunch of unresolved issues. And then one thing is the straw that breaks the camel back, and now all hell has broken loose and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So I think because they're in such a place where she feels so rejected, anything
Mm-hmm.
could tip her off.
Yeah.
Because she told the story. So it starts off with her talking about when they left the wolf
Sanctuary.
sanctuary. When they left, left the wolf sanctuary, and she was trying to help him open up his bag. And he started mumbling under his breath. I don't know. I could definitely see him doing that. It is not funny, but he definitely does give like disgruntled old man.
I was gonna say it's I could see this with older couples who've been together for a long time. The husband's just like, I don't know. I was like,
Right.
what'd you say?
I'm yeah.
She always trying to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Austin, y'all ain't been married long enough yet for that.
And she said she was so embarrassed, I guess because it happened in front of people. But I can see how, after being rejected so many times, she interprets that as even when I'm trying to do a kind act for you, you're rejecting it. You're rejecting me. I can see that.
Okay.
Go ahead and say what you want to say.
I can see it. But we also get his perspective later when they meet with the experts, and I'll save my thoughts until then.
Oh, will you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
fair. So she said something he mentioned in the car ride back was that he's been questioning for the past week if they would work out. And I'm surprised it was only for the past week.
Becca, he's finally telling you.
He's been thinking about it for a long periodically time, as that one girl said.
Yeah. And I think because things are snowballing, I think for him, on one hand, I get where she was saying that, oh, well, why are you just telling me this? I think while I agree with that, he may have, because for a while, it was almost like a band aid on the situation. It was only the intimacy thing where he's ready to move forward, she isn't. Now it's the communication. And now we find out, oh, it's because you've been acting different on and off camera. And so I think on one hand, I get he should have been told her, but I also think maybe based off of how the last week went, the clarity has come for him.
Oh, week before decision day? I think he's had clarity. He's just telling her. That's how.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm giving him too much grace. Is it how is it how she's been handling the intimacy thing? Because he's been saying, I don't want to talk about it anymore, even though I think he hasn't felt the need to progress in that area. Him coming to a place of like, okay, I'm finally realizing like, yeah, it's not the right fit.
He's been sending mixed signals though. So
I
yeah,
agree. He
yeah.
has been sending mixed signals. I agree.
We heard him saying, "Oh, I can't wait for this trip so we can focus on intimacy." And then while they're there, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore, which again, I get because that's a lot of
Hmm.
pressure to keep getting, but just be straightforward. I'll get to what she said on the after party after we talk about the experts. But while they were waiting for the experts, I said, "Oh, I know she's fed up. She won't even let him snuggle her."
Mm-mm.
And why? Like,
Why?
why? What makes you think I would want to in this situation? She was very nice about it. I think I just need space right now, because I, I don't know that I would have said it as calmly. Why would you think I would want to snuggle with you right now? Like, stop trying to pacify me. You know what I want. You have put no effort towards that. What is a snuggle session going to do? Just give me more hope for a hopeless
I
situation.
I think also preserve the image of him trying on camera, that is.
Very true. But
Yeah.
so, do you want to share your thoughts about his perspective with the plastic bag now that we're at the experts?
So he says my perspective is different. As we're standing at the counter, they were putting everything in one bag. He wanted a different bag. We don't have to go into all those details, but he had a way that he wanted to handle it as far as the things he was buying. And he says that Becca can sometimes micromanage him. Early on in the season, we pointed that out about her and maybe her level of assertiveness, control, wanting to direct things. And while I think that this has nothing to do with the intimacy part, I think when he called that out to her, she just kind of glanced over it. What did he say? Something about how he just feels pushed to the side.
Mhm.
And so on this particular thing, I could understand where if a person is saying, hey, I don't want to be micromanaged or treated like a child, or you're constantly giving me direction on everything, I'm not feeling it. I do think he should have spoke up and said something sooner to her. If this is his first time saying it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
In that moment, I felt that Becca didn't really acknowledge it. She just jumps right into saying, "Oh, there's a level of dismissiveness and combativeness that I feel, and it feels like rejection even when I'm trying to flirt." I wrote, Becca, what does that have to do with what he just said?
Just said. And so I get that, the whole micromanaging thing, because I hate when I'm doing something in a way that I've organized it and then someone
Mm-hmm.
else comes into, like, okay, sure, everything can fit in one bag, but I want it in two bags. Let me
And
have my two bags.
and she's like, "Oh, well, I was just trying to help, and I'm just trying to da 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 da."
Help ain't helpful.
I get that, but if that was his reaction in that moment, it tells me that you've been on this path of micromanaging him, and him mumbling under his breath was releasing his frustrations in the moment.
That's so childish.
Oh, 1,000%. But I think that that was his way of releasing the frustration. And he's probably, I don't know if he's been telling her, but he's been frustrated about it, I think. And she didn't acknowledge it. And neither did the experts push her
Expert.
to circle back. So
That bothered
what's the
me.
point of y'all being here?
That bothered me so much.
Mm.
Uh, but I see what Becca is saying. I also see what Austin is saying. I think he is more at fault for not being as communicative as he should have been about things. But they both have valid points in that moment. What I absolutely, oh, and she mentioned that it was in front of other people. So I think that added on to the embarrassment for her.
One more thing. She when the conversation first started, she says that she has been having a more difficult time than what she's let on. And then she goes into this whole thing later about how he's been different on and off camera. I said, okay, so now finally
Yeah.
she's being fully transparent about her frustration as well.
Mhm.
So they both have been lacking in communication.
Can I say she said on the after party that this was her first time communicating it in front of the experts, but it was something that she'd mentioned before behind the scenes.
Mm,
However, the reason why she was so shaken up talking about it with the experts was because she was afraid that their relationship would change when she brought to the table that he's acting differently when cameras go away. So, in other words, they hadn't agreed to share that with the expert,
mhm,
and she decided to be transparent and just let it
mhm.
put it out
All
there.
hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so she was concerned about how negatively it would impact their relationship after the experts and cameras left.
Yeah, I could see that. While at the same time, how are you gonna make progress?
I don't think Austin's intention is to make progress.
Mm-mm.
What bothered me about this was Pastor Cal goes, can I interject? Because this is fixable. Pastor Cal,
Austin said it is?
he was hoping they would
It's a
say,
wrap.
right, yeah, we can't do this anymore. What? He mumbled under his breath, cut the cameras.
He's looking for any way out.
He is.
Mm.
But I hate that Pastor Cal does that because I understand you want to stand 10 toes down behind a decision you helped make with pairing these two people. But I think it's the intimacy, it's the religion, it's so many things. It's that Austin doesn't want Becca and Becca
He
knows
don't want her.
that's
Mm-mm.
not something you can fix. Either the man wants her or he doesn't. That's nothing Pastor Cal can fix or Becca can fix or therapy. Like he has to just want her. He doesn't.
But I think that's what makes this situation so terrible is that Austin is playing games.
For real.
Earlier I said like, oh, maybe he just came to a revelation about how he felt over the last week. But he's definitely sending mixed signals, and I think the experts are trying to decipher what's real and what isn't either.
Okay.
So
She said a producer had to prompt him to apologize for sleeping in a different room. He said, well, that was not the first time I apologized to you. Apparently, it was the first time that mattered to her. Uh,
yeah, and
he,
he brings up the whole sleeping in the athlete's bedroom thing. The experts was too
if,
tickled with it. It's
if
nothing
it were
funny.
right, if it were an isolated situation, I think it would be. Now, come on, haha, we can laugh it off. But it's not. It's one situation combined with a series of rejections, as she sees it, and as I see it as well.
What I didn't appreciate is Pastor Kyle asked Becca, "Do you want this marriage?" She said she did over the past week. Now she doesn't know because it's been so rough.
Mhm.
Then Dr. Pepper comes in and says, "Oh, well, I think we just need to take a step back from making a decision-making statement."
Girl, it's a week before decision day. If I can't decide now what I'm gonna do with my life in a week,
Experts where? Who?
and Dr. Pepper should know better. She should know better. Pastor Cal said, "Is there something here worth fighting for?" And I actually don't like that question because this isn't a small thing. So you'll always be able to find things worth fighting for with the worst of partners. There's always something worth fighting for. But the thing is, this is a big deal for her. This seems like it carries a lot of weight, say 80% in the relationship. So, yeah, there might be 20% worth fighting for, but
Mhm.
if I settle for that 20%, I'll never get the rest of the 80. And 80 is a huge chunk. So, yeah, there might be something worth fighting for, but I'm not about to be in the boxing rink by myself. Ring or rink? Ring. skating,
Mhm.
boxing ring. But yeah, I'm not about to be in. Should I make sure? I don't do either of those things, as you can tell.
Listen, between that and this the, Wizard of Oz stuff we
Oh
didn't
my
know.
gosh. Yes, if you watched our Love is Blind review, we were having the hardest time figuring out who needed a brain and who needed a heart. Okay. But yeah, so I hate that question because you can't dictate to a person where they put certain weights in a relationship. And so
Yeah.
stop asking her if there's something worth fighting for. You're looking at it as, oh, this is one thing out of many, but this one thing holds a lot of weight for her.
Yeah, in past Dr. Pepper agreed because earlier she said if a woman isn't sexually desired, it's corrosive. But then he later on says, "Oh, well, it's not just about the bedroom. It's about the trust." Well, clearly she can't trust him because his actions and his words aren't lining up.
They're not
So
mean.
even Pastor Kyle and Dr. Pepper, y'all need to get on the same page.
Period. 'Cause Austin said, I feel like you don't believe my intentions because the camera is there. Well, Austin, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure patterns. When the cameras are here, you act this way. When the cameras ain't here, you act that way. So yeah, it is hard for me to believe your intentions when the cameras are there when I see how you act when they aren't around.
Yeah. Then Austin says he told her he wants this over and over, but
Mhm.
then they jump in and say, "Oh, no buts." No, let him finish.
Very good. Yeah,
He I'm like, "Okay, maybe we're getting somewhere. Maybe he'll excuse himself out of this." But the experts jump in and they don't let him finish.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
And
Yeah, no
then went
man.
to a
I
meditation center, which I don't know. Why did she have that sock?
we
Why
both
did she
looking
have
confused, like, why
that?
was that foot out of the tub?
I was waiting for them to give us an explanation, but they never did.
Maybe she got an injury.
And
Listen, let us not speculate, but that was just the oddest thing.
when you elevate your legs for an injury, they don't be that high. Like it's not.
No, more so like it can't get wet. Like say she cut her foot or something. Yeah. Or she has like had a procedure done on it. I don't know. But sometimes you can't submerge,
Yeah,
an injury in water.
I was thinking she was trying to elevate it, which maybe her toes weren't done, so she put the sock over it. I don't know, but it's okay to not go in the hot tub, right?
Yeah. I mean, she could do what she want to do. It just looked off.
Just don't go in. It's okay.
Yeah, but this was rough to watch with Becca and Austin. I wish I'm ready for decision day to get here. I'm curious to see if Michael and Chloe will be on the same timeline as the rest of the couples. Um, I think we're gonna be zero marriages across the board at
I
this
hope so.
point.
I'm trying to see when this season is ending. Can they end it by like March? Because April is a busy month, so need them to wrap this
What
up.
are we at? Episode 18. They have what, 7 days, 7 to 9 days left until decision day, they said.
7
After
days.
this,
Yeah.
7 days. I say we have at least one more full episode and then decision day.
You know they
Decisions will
like to do
start.
that in between episode too, where
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so.
I don't know.
All right, y'all. That's it for today's review. Let us know what you thought about the Becca and Austin situation and also Michael and Chloe. And we will be back either tomorrow or Saturday with our Love is Blind review. So make sure
Hmm.
to check us out for that. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Bye.